Today I'm going to show you how to make Korean dumplings called Mandu. I'm going to share all my tips and tricks with you so that you could successfully make delicious homemade Korean mandu at home. Now for today's filling, we're going to use beef, but you could certainly use pork, and for my vegan friends, plant-based meat. And I hear you, some of you are like, but I really suck at hand shaping the dumplings. Not to worry, I'm going to share my easiest fail-proof way of hand shaping the dumplings, as well as how most Koreans hand shape our mandu when we make it at home. Make sure to watch to the end because I'm going to show you how to properly freeze your beautifully handmade Korean dumplings so you could have it at a later time. It's a small batch recipe yielding about 24 dumplings, and today's recipe also includes how to make this delicious soy sauce dipping sauce, which is a must when you have Korean dumplings. 오늘의 레시피, 집에서 아주 맛있는 고기 만두 만들기. 오늘도 여러분들과 영어로 함께 하겠습니다. Hi everyone, this is Helen and welcome to Modern Pepper. 안녕하세요, Modern Pepper의 헬렌입니다. The ingredient list is also available in the description box below. I'm going to use ground beef today, but you could use any cut of beef or pork, just finely minced. We need about 300 grams of ground beef, and make sure that it has some fat, whether using beef or pork. And vegan friends, of course, plant-based ground meat would be great. Place the meat in a large mixing bowl. And to this, we're gonna add 2 big pinches of salt. 1, 2. So we're gonna make this a little bit salty because this is gonna be the seasoning for our filling. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose soy sauce, Korean soy sauce. I have 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of finely minced white onion, 1 scallion finely minced, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I would say about a good 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We need about 1/8 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger. Just scrape it and put it in. 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Because this is our meat filling, I'm gonna make it extra rich with sesame oil, and then we're gonna go in with our hands and mix everything up. You could also make this a day in advance and keep it in the fridge so it marinates so that it looks like this. It smells really good. Now make sure to pat it down like so, and then cover it with a saran wrap and let it hang out on your kitchen counter while we get the rest of the ingredients ready. For our vegetables, we need about 200 grams of Mung bean sprouts, 숙주나물. Now, if you can't get this, you could use zucchini or 애호박 or calabaza. Just cut them into strips and follow the same instructions. And 300 grams of green cabbage and 80 grams of garlic chives, called buchu in Korean. And if you can't get this, just substitute it with green onions. In a medium-sized pot, I want you to fill it about halfway and bring it to boil. Add 1 tablespoon of salt. Here's our cabbage. I separated the leaves a little bit, and then we're just gonna add our cabbage in there. And then I want you to squish everything down, and I want you to start the clock, so in 1 minute, we're gonna take everything out. A minute later, we're just gonna pull out our cabbage and put it in cold water. Your cabbage should still look very crunchy. We do not, I emphasize, we do not want to overcook our cabbage. And using the same pot and the same water, we're gonna add our Mung bean sprouts, 숙주나물, and we're literally gonna just put this in here for 30 seconds. And your heat remains at high throughout the entire blanching process. 30 seconds later, we're gonna turn the heat off and quickly take out our 숙주나물 and place it in a bowl with cold water again. Then pour into a strainer, spray it down with cold water, then pour our cabbage. And again, spray it down for like 5 seconds with cold water. Then we want to place our blanched cabbage on a cutting board. And then we want to roughly chop our cabbage like so. So we want to finely chop our cabbage so that you don't have these like big hardcore pieces of the cabbage. So continue chopping until all the pieces are pretty small. So you want to chop going from all angles so that it looks like this. We're going to place our chopped up cabbage on a cheesecloth and then pick it up and then turn and squeeze. So just turn and squeeze. Excess liquid is the enemy, but don't over squeeze either. And we're gonna add our squeezed cabbage into our mixing bowl with the beef marinade. And the same thing for our blanched mung bean sprouts. Now it's also important to not over chop your mung bean sprouts. We wanna just chop it so it looks like this. Chop and squeeze in our cheesecloth. And we need about half a block, 8 ounces of extra firm tofu. The other half that we're not going to use, we're going to place it in a bowl with cold water, put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, and eat it within a few days. The other half, we're going to place it on our cheesecloth, wrap it up again, turn, 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 and then you squeeze. About, 5 to 6 squeezes. Then add it to our bowl. And our chives, we're gonna cut the ends off. And add it to our bowl. And we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of Korean breadcrumbs called pangaru, also known as panko here in the States. And 1 tablespoon of potato starch. And half a tablespoon of sesame seed salt called 깨소금. You could totally make this at home if you have sesame seeds. If you want to learn how to make this, the video will be linked in the description box below. And 2 big pinches of salt. And this is optional. I'm going to add half a tablespoon of 소고기 다시다. That's Korean beef bouillon powder. You could use chicken 다시다 or Mandu for my vegan friends. And if you don't have this, just add another pinch of salt or MSG. And we need 1 egg. Then we're going to go in with our hands and mix everything up. So mix everything up until it looks like this. That's gonna make some delicious dumplings. It's gonna be so good. I have to say, this smells so good. It smells delicious and it's not even cooked. At this point, we need to do a taste test of our filling. So take a spoonful, put it on a frying pan, and then grill it, and let's have a taste. Delicious. We're tasting to see if it's too bland. If it's too bland, add a little more salt. If it's too salty, add more of the Korean breadcrumbs, pangaru, or more of the extra firm tofu. Just squeeze out the excess water. I could hear it. Can I make this ahead of time? Can I freeze it? No, no, no. So when you make your mandu filling, you want to use it right away because as the fillings rest, it will release a lot of the natural liquids. Excess liquid when it comes to making dumplings is the enemy. So remember that. I highly, highly recommend going to a large Chinese supermarket if you live near one. And they will always have so many different variations of freshly made dumpling wrappers. And the one that I prefer to buy is sugal wrappers compared to the pastica wrappers. As you can see right here, it is extremely thin. For Korean wrappers, that's how we like it, very much on the thin side. Now, the other dumpling wrapper that I love is the Korean one made with sweet white rice flour, glutinous rice, chapsal 만두빚기. And you can find these at your Korean supermarket in the freezer section. So when you bring it home, just thaw it out overnight in the fridge. For those of you that do not live near any Asian markets, I will do a separate video on how to make dumpling wrappers, 만두빚기. So make sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe if you haven't done so. Today we're going to use chapsal 만두빚기. These are king-size wrappers made with sweet white rice flour, glutinous flour, and the other half we're going to use the Chinese sugal wrappers. Before you start wrapping your dumplings, what you need to do is take some out, not all of it, and place it on a plate. and cover it with a plastic wrap and bring it to room temperature by letting it rest for 10 minutes on your kitchen counter. So any unused wrappers, wrap it well in plastic wrap, and then put it in a freezer bag, and you could store this in the fridge as you work through it, or put it in the freezer if you're gonna use it for another time. As promised, let's start with the easiest way of wrapping your dumplings. So I have 2 right here, and then I'm going to grab a spoonful. So the more you do this, you'll know exactly how much to pick up using your spoon, and then just kind of pat it down and make a circle like that. And then you want to use your finger. This is cold water. Dip it, go around, half circle, go back to the water one more time, put it on the other half of the circle. And then with this one, you just want to lay it on top, and then you want to press to seal right here. And then you want to press to seal the other side like that, and then you go around sealing like this. So it's kind of like Italian ravioli. The shape of the dumplings does not affect the taste. It's the filling. This is the easiest way to make at home. There you have it. And then on to the next one. Always keep the mandu wrappers with a plastic over it because we don't want to dry it out. I'm going to show you the one that most Korean households make, this simple mandu wrap. So what you want to do is like shape it into an oval shape and pack it down in the center, like an oval egg kinda. And then again, dip with the finger. This time, just put half around the circle. And then what you want to do is use this finger to kind of press down the stuffing, and then you want to seal the middle first with your thumb and index finger. And then you want to seal this side after. The seal is so important. And then this side, we want to pinch it at the end, and then press, press, press. And there you have it. So the seal is tight and our stuffing is compact in the center. Then put it down. Well, let me show you another shape that you can make. What you can do is in the center here, you fold it and then you do a quick squeeze like that. And then we go here towards the end, fold and then quick squeeze. And here, quick squeeze. Same thing. We go to the end, squeeze here, and in between, and squeeze there. So this is another shape you can make. But for me, this is the shape that I prefer, quick and easy. Let me show you another shape that we use for steaming our dumplings. From here, what you want to do is take this end and just bring it together like that. We want to pinch the 2 ends so it's glued together. And this is the shape that we make to steam our mandu. So these are the 4 shapes that you could easily make at home when you wrap your dumplings. Now we're going to use the Korean mandu wrapper, the king size 만두빚기. This is again using the sweet glutinous rice. So this is actually softer to mold and touch, so I really prefer this one more. And because this is a mucho grande size, we want to stuff it more. It's almost like double the amount of stuffing. I mean, who doesn't like an extra large king size dumplings? Like that, and there you have it. Put it down here. This is the standard size that we made, and this is our mandu. This is the king size. So just see the difference in stuffing. I like this one better, but you know, this is good too. In Korean culture, making mandu is when the family kind of comes together and it becomes like a family affair where everybody has to make mandu. When we make mandu in my family, we make at least 200 at a time. Yes, 200. And then everybody gets to go home with some and we freeze it. Even the little kids make it. And mind you, their mandu shapes come out really funky looking, but it's so cute at the same time. You know, for the holidays or for any special family occasion, bring everyone over and make Korean dumplings. We're done making our dumplings. The standard size, I made about a dozen, and then the mandu, we made another dozen. If you don't make the king size, you'll end up with about 3 dozen-ish of the standard size. It took me 10 minutes to make all these dumplings. If it takes you longer than that, you need to put the dumplings in the freezer or cook it right away. Now, if you are going to freeze your dumplings, make sure to space them out like so. And then I want you to loosely cover it with a plastic wrap. Then place the dumpling tray in your freezer and continue making the rest of your dumplings. Then after you make another batch of the dumplings, what you want to do is place each one in between the gap of the previous batch, like so. This way, as the dumplings freeze, they do not stick to each other. Then loosely cover with more plastic wrap on top. Then place it back in the freezer and keep on making the rest of your dumplings. Then once you're done with making your last batch of dumplings, we want to securely now cover with more plastic wrap. And this part's really important when you freeze your dumplings because we want to get a tight seal so there's no moisture going in. So what I like to do is double wrap it again, like that. Then we're going to put it back in the freezer and we're going to let this freeze for 24 hours. Our dumplings have been frozen for 24 hours and now we're just going to cut through it. And you want to put your dumplings in a plastic bag, however many you want, half a dozen, 2 dozen, or whatever. And then put it in a freezer bag. And then notice how we spaced out our dumplings so they're not sticking together. And what you also want to do is drop the tray like so. And then that would also help unstick any dumplings that are stuck. Then put it in the freezer and eat it within a month. And when you're ready to eat it, remember to never thaw out your frozen dumplings. It goes straight from the freezer to the stove. All right, now it's time to fry up our mandus. Set your heat to high and preheat your frying pan for about a good minute or 2. So if you let this sit out on your kitchen counter for more than 10 minutes, what happens is the skin starts getting soft and then that's how it breaks. So that's why 10 minutes max on your cutting board after you make it, or cook it right away. Once your frying pan is preheated, I want you to add a generous amount of oil. We're gonna lower our heat to medium-high. Then we're gonna place our mandu. I'm adding 3 of the king mandus and then our standard size mandus right here. It's important to not overcrowd your pan either, so each mandu has space. And then our easy peasy shaped one right here in the middle. And then move your frying pan around so it gets equal distribution of the oil. And we're just gonna kind of brown this on medium-high heat. So it's been 1 minute, let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's the color that we want, okay? So when you get that color, flip over all the pieces. So once the other side has turned this golden brown color, we're gonna add some hot water. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup hot water. Pour it in our pan. And we're just gonna let the steam away in our pan for less than a minute. And then a minute later, voila. So most of our water has evaporated and steamed. So we're gonna take the little guys out, take this one out. And the big guys, we're gonna leave it in the center. We're gonna turn off the heat, cover it with our foil, and let it kind of steam in here for another minute. So a minute later, our big Wang-sized mandu, they're ready. Put it on our plate. Ooh, look at that. Now it's important to let these guys rest for 5 minutes so all the juices retract within. And also if you bite into a super hot dumplings, you could literally burn your mouth. Now, if you're interested in learning another way to pan fry your dumplings, as well as steamed and water boiled, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because that will be our next recipe. And if you're watching this a few days later, it will be linked over here and also in the description box below. So to make our simple dipping sauce for our mandu, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of water, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose Korean soy sauce, 양조간장, half a tablespoon of vinegar. You could use 현미식초 or any white distilled vinegar works. Half a teaspoon of 고춧가루, that's Korean red pepper flakes. And then we're just gonna add a little bit of sesame seeds and then just a little bit of green onions. this is it. Easy as that. This soy sauce dipping sauce is a must when you have Korean dumplings. So now that you made your Korean dumplings, now you have to make Korean dumpling soup called Mandu. And I have a video for that, so check it out. It'll be linked over here or in the description box below. Time to taste! In my mouth, in my belly. Here we go. Let's start with the standard size one, where we use the Chinese suga wrappers. Delicious, delicious. And dipping a little bit of it into the soy sauce dipping sauce we made, just like made it extra, extra, extra good. Oh wow, so good. Gotta finish this. On to our Mandu, the king-size dumplings that we made. I actually have a tip that I'm gonna share with you. You take your scissors, you make a little slit like that, then you get some of the soy sauce dipping sauce, and then you kind of pour it into the gap. So since this is a king-size mandu, I'm going to put a little more of the soy sauce, and there you have it. Then you don't have to double dip, triple dip, and everything is just soaking in there with our mandu filling. So because we added the soy sauce inside, this is going to be juicy. So you need a plate. Bon appetit, everyone. So I want to quickly show you the difference in the wrappers. So this one is using the Korean wrapper with glutinous rice flour, and this one is using just all-purpose wheat flour. So that's where the difference is. The Korean one is chewier. 쫄깃쫄깃하고 맛있습니다. And then the suga one is just as good, but it just doesn't have that chewy texture. You can't go wrong with either one. And here's our easy peasy shaped mandu that we made earlier. And the stuffing is so moist. That was my mandu dance, dumpling dance. I want to thank everyone for watching today, and if you enjoyed watching today's video, I want to kindly ask you to click on that thumbs up icon and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. 여러분 오늘 재밌게 보셨으면 꼭 좋아하는 버튼과 구독 버튼도 눌러주세요. 다음 영상에서 뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다. Alright folks, I will see you in one of the videos you see right here.